If we talk about the criminals, gangs are in the lower of the chain. I mean, the high criminals, we have them in the Congress. We have them in the presidential house. We have the high rank officers in the military and in the police. Those are the dangerous ones.
Honduras, one of the most violent and dangerous countries in the world, constantly dealing with major problems related to corruption and extreme gang violence. And on top of this, only a few months ago, Honduras was struck by 2 major hurricanes, which wiped out entire neighborhoods. Because of all this compounding suffering, thousands have fled the country, headed towards the United States for a better life. Throughout this video series, I will travel all throughout Honduras, meet the people, and hear their side of the story.
Do you feel safe living here?
No. Not at all, not at all.
Passport.
Where are those kids?
I'm Carlos.
Carlos, I'm Nick.
Va para abajo. Yeah, and then I'm going around.
Welcome back to Honduras. So we're in the city in between San Pedro and Tegucigalpa. Copa de Agua, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. This clock behind me is actually the oldest clock in the whole of Latin America. So it's over 500 years old. And it was actually in Spain for, I think, 60 or so years before it came to this town. This area feels pretty safe and secure. However, at our hotel last night, we heard gunshots on the street outside our hotel. So that's Honduras in a nutshell. You've got these nice, chilled out places, and then when you least expect it, things can pop off. We're gonna leave this beautiful colonial town here, and we're going to head up into the mountains. We wanna see like a different side of Honduras today, see who we can meet up in the hills, see a bit of the nature. So we've just pulled off the main road here, and we've come across something really cool. Honduras, you might know it, is a huge producer of coffee. In your supermarket you probably have Honduran coffee. These are coffee beans. So they bring them from the coffee plantation. They lay them out along the roadside here to let them dry before they go into the rest of the processing. So they're taking huge bags of coffee out the back of this truck here and just throwing them on the road. All these bags were full of coffee. Hola. Mucho gusto. And how long are they left on the road?
Dependiendo del sol, como 2 horas más o menos.
Depending on the sun, probably 2 hours. Try the excessive water. So we've driven 1 to 2 hours. We've arrived in this beautiful kind of, feels like some kind of sanctuary, but it's actually a cacao plantation. There's an Argentinian guy who started it. He's got an interesting story. Coffee and chocolate and bananas. This country has definitely got the delicious treats. So this is the cacao fruit here. So inside of here there's grains, and that's where you get chocolate from. So this is the original fruit of chocolate. So we're going to break one of these open and have a look inside.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. You can suck?
Eat it?
Yeah, only suck.
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 Bite it.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
I don't know the name in English.
I swallowed it.
No, you
I did, yeah.
You were not supposed to.
It just went down. I swallowed it.
Se lo traigo.
See. So you toast the grain for 35 minutes,
Yeah.
and you move it for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
constantly.
All time. ¿Cómo creen que va a salir esto? Esto ya está tostado.
So we were saying in one Hershey's chocolate bar, there's only one of these, and the rest is just additives, sugar, and powdered milk.
Manifestación.
This is pasta de cacao.
Then you put it back in.
If you want, you can eat.
Like that?
Strong.
Very strong?
Yeah. Remember, no chocolate. It's cacao liquid.
Pure.
Yeah.
Very rich.
So adding the chocolate to milk. Sugar,
Bueno, ya.
show us your moves.
Reemplazando la anfetamina sin. Salud.
How is it?
Oh, delicious, man.
Your eyes are on
Really?
fire. So he's gonna make 70% cacao chocolate right now. That's a lot.
Okay. 70% cacao, 30% sugar.
Do you eat commercial chocolate ever?
Yes, sometimes.
You like it?
Sometimes. I like it, but I know it's not chocolate, it's not cacao.
List.
This is the real 70%.
Yeah, you know.
That's completely different to the stuff you buy in the supermarket. It's tasty, but it's completely different. So you leave this here for 4 hours, 20 to 24 degrees, and it will solidify and turn into a bar of chocolate.
Chocolate bar. Ah,
Bonito.
finito. Artisanal chocolate bar.
Okay.
This guy's crazy. So we're here with Damien, and he started this beautiful cacao plantation here. You came from Argentina and then met a beautiful Honduran girl,
Yeah.
and then you never left. What's it like living in Honduras as you were a foreigner? And Honduras has a reputation to be dangerous, right? But do you feel okay living out here in the countryside? Is it safe?
Honduras is different. A lot of beautiful landscapes. I live here in Honduras 6 years ago. Here in my farm is safe. It's safe. We sleep with the open doors in my house. Yeah. No, it's different to the cities. Sorry for my English.
No, it's good. In the countryside, it's okay, but in the city, you have to be careful, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You're very happy in Honduras, and you love it here, and you're going to stay here in the future a long time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Honduras. I stay here with. I love my job. With my wife from Honduras. We are happy. We are happy here.
So we've come to this huge dam here. It's in the national park. We had to go through like 3 checkpoints with military guys with weapons again and give our passports and everything. What's the name of this dam, Amaro?
Central Hidroeléctrica Francisco Morazán.
You used to work here,
Spent 10 years of my life in this place.
working inside the dam.
Inside the dam, I'm a
Excellent.
mechanical technician and I work in maintenance, installation, operation.
People come here for like tourism on the
Yeah.
lake and things.
Touristic place, people comes to visit. The problem with this hydroelectric power plant is that a lot of habitat of animals is flooded. So there is a big environmental impact. When you build this kind of projects, you have to take in consideration the environment and the people. Sometimes they're just thinking about the money you make with this. There was a lot of villages and people living there, but we need
Electricity.
electricity. Hola.
So we come down to the thermal pools, and it just happens that the military are here, like doing some training or swimming or something. But pretty unique situation here at the bottom of that huge dam with the military and hot pools. Good morning. We spent the night in this mountain lodge here, completely nestled in the mountains here. Drove up these dirt mountain roads and arrived up here, and this is like a wildlife sanctuary. Honduras is an extremely biodiverse country, lots of different species of animals and plants. Very, very beautiful country. But I have to say, last night at the reception we were talking about how beautiful and peaceful this place is, and we look out the window and there's two guys just wearing football uniforms with automatic weapons. Everywhere you go you can't really escape the military presence or the gun presence here, but it is definitely nice to be up in this beautiful nature here. Apparently there's like jaguars and mountain lions around here as well, so there's like so many different kinds of incredible animals. I'm just gonna kind of ask Omar here, who's been showing me around this whole trip, a few questions about him as a local. He's lived overseas, he's been able to compare Europe and other places to here in Honduras. So how has the trip been for you, man?
Quite intense.
What's your view of Honduras? Because I think when you're living here, maybe you get desensitized to certain things, but now you've been away and you've come back. For me, it's like you've got these amazing, beautiful, world-class nature, obviously very nice people. But then there is that other side, right?
The dark side of Honduras. It's kind of shocking, really. For every average Honduran who's never been out, this is the norm. This is it. This is daily life. You get used to see so many guards with shotguns. You get used to military, police, and you're not shocked by things that in other countries will be huge impact on people. And here it's like just another day. If we talk about the criminals, gangs are in the lower of the chain. I mean, the high criminals, we have them in the Congress. We have them in the presidential house. We have the high rank officers in the military and in the police. Those are the dangerous ones.
Are you not worried about saying this kind of thing on camera?
Now this has been on the news. This is nothing new. We know it here in Honduras. I mean, how can we hide the fact that the president's brother was taken by U.S. authorities and is serving life in prison? Tony Hernandez is in a military and in a prison in the US.
For what?
For drug trafficking. We're talking about tons of cocaine. We're not talking about kilos. We're talking about ties with the Sinaloa cartel, using the military personnel and resources to smuggle drugs to the US. So everybody knows that.
And that's the president that's in power now's brother.
This has been called a narco state, declared like internationally, like this is a narco state. Gangs, they are not really the dangerous one. The problem with Honduras is this is nonsense violence, man. We have no declared conflict. We're not fighting again because of religion. We're not fighting Salvadorians or Guatemalans, we're fighting ourselves. This is Hondurans doing it to Hondurans. For power, for money, this is greed. And they go every 4 years asking for votes, hanging these signs on every corner, and then they just forget about the people and they stab people in the back. They betray their people, they betray their country, like the one we have now in power, because the system is corrupted, you know? Poverty, no education, no access to health, slums with control by gangs, your daughters taken by the gang leaders, people have to leave their houses, abandoned because of violence. For example, if we talk about people going in those caravans to the US, that even caravan is a soft name, this is a forced migration. It's because of that, because of all of this. It's because of the gangs, it's because of the corruption, it's because of no healthcare, no education, no infrastructure. Nobody wants to leave the place that you were born. Nobody wants to leave family behind, places you're familiar with, friends. And people is willing to go thousands of kilometers on foot and face all kinds of danger on the way. Just because, the American dream, this is no longer an American dream. Before it was like because you want to have a better life and because you want to... No, this is forced.
These strong feelings, do you think that they're held by many people in this country?
Of course. Nobody wants to see your brother, your sister, someone else's mother died. I mean, just like that. But how do we fix this? For that, I don't have an answer. I think education. Educate the next generation to be different. How do we teach honesty, man? How do we teach empathy? Gives people sense of community and work together and have the same goal. How do we teach integrity? That's what we need. We need educated people with ethics. Not to make money to go shopping to Miami or go to the Alps and skiing, because we have people like that in Honduras and the rest of us starving. Violence and poverty, when we talk about this, we talk about the murder rate. But what about living with fear? What about worrying about not being able to put food on the table, man? What about that? One woman will be killed every 36 hours. Every 36 hours, a woman will die violently. Pepe Lobo, the last president before this one, so they took money from the Honduran Social Security Institute, more than 300 million lempiras, to finance the campaign of Juan Orlando Hernandez, who now is president, but then he was president of the Congress. And then they made up companies, non-existent companies, with contracts to provide medicine to the hospitals, and then with flour pills.
They put baking flour into a pill press and then sold it as real medicine.
Sold it as a medicine. 3,000 people died because of that. Nobody is in jail paying for that. They accepted that. We know the names of the people. Nobody pays for that. Then he became president. Once he got in power, he changed the rules to control over the Congress, to control of the Supreme Court, changed the game rules and to be re-elected, because he was not allowed to re-election. Now he's been re-elected, and who knows where he goes from here. He achieved El Patron goal. He wanted to be president. Now we have it. Maybe in the future, Netflix is going to do a special about Juan Orlando Hernandez.
Can you explain a bit about the El Patron goal, just for people that aren't familiar with narcos?
Patron is Pablo Escobar Gaviria. He wanted to be president of Colombia.
So you're saying like narco people that get into politics to have the control?
Yeah, of course.
So we've met a nice local lady called Betty. I've heard a lot of people say that being a woman in Honduras is very difficult and there's lots of inequality and things. So would you mind just telling us what it's like being a woman in Honduras and the issues that you face?
Okay, nice to meet you, Nick. And being a woman in Honduras, even when you are born in your family, they're not expecting a girl, they're expecting a boy. They want something to support the family. And in Honduras, the women, they don't have too much opportunities. Education, work, there is a lot of discrimination. The women could do the same things as men in a work, but the pay is much, much less. The women are demanded to do much things.
They have to work harder.
Harder.
They work harder, get paid less.
Yeah.
And my friend was telling me that there's like a woman killed every 36 hours in Honduras.
There's a lot of women killed in their homes, in the streets. We are very vulnerable.
So women are viewed as like down here.
Down. Nobody knows what happened when these women are killed, when we are killed. It could be my sister, my daughter, and we don't know.
No answers, no reason, and
there is a lot of impunity about that. So we're just numbers.
And so do you feel safe living in this country as a woman?
No.
Not at all?
Not at all. It isn't. There is too much sexual harassment, homicides, and rapes.
Rapes. You studied in the United States, right?
Yeah.
And so can you tell me the differences between being a woman in the US and being a woman in Honduras?
It was so different. It's just the way that women are treated there is like equal, like men. And they are allowed to dress different. We in Honduras, if they're like with a shirt, they will think that you're a prostitute. You cannot dress like that. You can express yourself. Women can express, say what they want or what they think.
Mm-hmm.
They are shut down because they'll say it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't really matter what a woman think.
What do you think needs to happen for this to change?
The women, we have to begin the change. Taking our kids to school to learn different things.
Education.
Educations. We need, I didn't want to say the government to take a very serious politics to invest in education and teach the equality, the violence generated because kids at the age of 15, 16, they don't have anything to do. They are in school, they are not at work, so they are just maybe taking drugs. All of that will generate more violence. So we need to change that and change the minds of all people and take the girls to school.
And that is the end of my trip in Honduras. It's a heavy episode, I know, but I wanted the local people to have their say of the country and share what they wanted to share about what the nation of Honduras is facing. Very emotionally impactful trip. Again, the people are incredible, unrelatable hardships, but such warm and hospitable people. I want to give a huge thank you to Amare for showing me around his country, putting himself out there in these situations in order to share the story of Honduras. Amare has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of bicycle touring in different countries around the world, so I'll leave the link below and if you want to follow him on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll see you. The next video might be in a couple weeks. I'm currently organizing that trip now. Thank you, Honduras, for having me. It was extremely heavy. A life-changing trip, that's for certain. If you want to stay up to date with my travels outside of YouTube, you can follow my Instagram here at indigo.traveler with 2 L's. Take care of each other and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.